Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of July 28th, 2024. Next week, on Sunday, August 4th, is the Leo New Moon Workshop. I highly suggest you join me if you're interested in learning how to make the most out of this lunation phase, including ways to optimize the time with Mercury going retrograde and the big Jupiter-Saturn square. I will do as many hot take natal chart readings as I can. You can sign up at astrologybyceleste.com or at the link in the show notes. I hope to see you there. Now let's take a look back at some astrology in action. We have had such incredible events happening in the collective aligned with the astrology. It's been an amazing teaching tool for people. It's a really great opportunity to learn and see how the shifting energies in the transits show up in real life, in the collective, and then relate them back to your own life. So on July 20th, Mars, the planet of action, drive, and assertion, moved from the sign of its detriment of Taurus, which is a slow, plodding sign which takes one step before the other and can really hold the energy. It was almost like slogging through mud in some ways. And it moved into the fast-paced sign of Gemini. It's an airy, mutable sign where there's more communication. Each sign is in rebellion to the one that came before it. So these energetic shifts tend to be a bit dramatic. And this one was so dramatic because on Sunday, while Mars was at 0 degrees of Gemini, trine Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto rules power and Aquarius is the people. Joe Biden stepped down from the race for president and said he's stopping his campaign and he's just going to complete his term. And then later, 25 minutes later, he endorsed Kamala Harris, who is a Gemini rising. She's a sun in Libra, moon in Aries, born at the full moon, and a Gemini rising. And I did an Instagram Live that is linked in the show notes where I went through the astrology and talked a lot about this. So I want to keep it brief for this. You can watch that video on YouTube if you're so interested. But it was such a great example because Jupiter is already in Gemini. It's been there since May 25th. Jupiter makes everything bigger. It's a benefic. It rules well. And now Mars went into Gemini, and it was like the action shifted. It's action Jackson, full steam ahead, where the energy changed. There's this explosion of excitement about Kamala Harris running in the Democratic circles. And the Win with Black Women organization, which has been holding weekly or monthly events around elections for years, and they normally have 500 people on each session. They drew 44,000 people onto a Zoom call that very day. They had to, at one point, get the CEO of Zoom on the phone and get him to be able to expand the number of people. They raised $1.5 million on this Zoom call, and within 24 hours, Kamala Harris had raised over $81 million for her campaign. So this is Mars, the planet of action, drive, and assertion, shooting out of a cannon, headed for Jupiter. There's passion, there's enthusiasm, there's drive, there's energy. And very quickly as well, she got support throughout the Democratic Party and enough delegates to win the nomination. But she said she wants to earn the nomination. So we'll see what that means and whether there's the illusion of a brokered convention or not. But on the flip side, Gemini energy can be anxiety inducing. And just think about what happened with Donald Trump, who's a sun in Gemini, where his campaign is now freaking out. They're seeing all this excitement. She's coming out of the gate, strong, forceful, ready to go. Her slogan is "Let's go," which is Mars in Gemini, or at least that's what they've been saying. And it's so perfect for this energy. And there's talk amongst the media class, Donald Trump's campaign, and some other people that it's like stealing the opportunity for the vote and the primaries from the electorate and kind of anointing Kamala Harris. Well, there's extenuating circumstances. From what I can see and I've heard from experts, they don't really have a case around trying to stop her because the leader of the House has said they're going to do legal challenges to try to keep her off the ballot. But you can read all about it. I just wanted to make you aware of how that energetic shift showed up in the collective. And on the day, July 21st, where Biden stepped down, we had a full moon in Capricorn at the 29th anaretic degree of Capricorn. And I got all into this in the video you can watch on YouTube, where the sun, who is the leader, is trying Neptune. I'm out. Venus in Leo was sextile Jupiter in Gemini. I am giving you my endorsement. Venus and Jupiter are the benefics. Venus is a gift. Jupiter rules benefactors, and that elevated her. And it was Mercury square Uranus. Mercury in Leo, an announcement square Uranus of a reversal. The Friday before, so 2 days before, Biden's campaign had said he's staying in the race. Apparently, he saw the poll numbers and he reversed. Uranus reverses his decision. Also, Eris, the goddess of chaos, stationed to go retrograde on July 21st. So Eris is the one who rolled the apple into the party, and the three goddesses started fighting over it, and it led to the Trojan War. So there was this big thing that caused all this upheaval and temporary chaos among some people, but the Kamala Harris and the Win with Black Women organization and so many others are just ready to go. And on Monday, 20,000+ Black men got on a call working on mobilizing people to get out the vote and to bring in a victory. I'm excited to be a faculty member for the Organization of Professional Astrology's retreat in Park City, Utah from October 16th through 21st. I will be teaching a Moon Mastery Intensive over 3 days. This is going to be intimate, where there will be no more than 9 participants. You'll learn everything about the moon and her cycles to deepen your understanding of your natal chart. We will delve into the past, the present, and what's going to be coming up in the future so that you can use the energies in order to achieve your goals. You can also bring a chart of someone else with their permission. If you want to join, do not hesitate. Sign up today because there are limited spots. I would love to be your guide as you deepen your understanding of our beautiful lunar teacher. The theme of this week is stealing victory. And I want you to be thinking about this when you listen to the news, if you so do so, about what some of the adversaries are saying about the election, as well as we have the Olympics have started now. So you can think about stealing victory from the jaws of defeat. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited by all of this energy, if you cannot tell. Astrology is just fascinating. You have the cliff notes for the novel, but you don't know exactly how it's going to play out until it does. And then when it does, it's like, oh, wow, there's always something. Even if you predict and it comes the way you predicted it, there's always like a little shades that you didn't necessarily see. Anyway, there are three big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that we have a last quarter moon at 5 degrees of Taurus. Last quarter moons are the crisis of consciousness, where you integrate psychologically what has come before, and there's often action taking. So I want you to keep in mind that Uranus, the planet of upheaval, reversals, shocks, and awe, is still on the fixed star Algol, which I've talked about extensively. Algol is very feared. Now, it's also the Medusa mythology and the Lilith mythology about women who men fear because of their sexuality and their not being subservient. This last quarter moon has some nice energy where Mars in Gemini is sextile the Sun in Leo. That can be really passionate, really nice energy for achievement and success. Mars achieves, the Sun is about shining your light. It's at home in Leo. It's energetic and fun. The Olympics are ongoing, which is an exciting sports competition. Now, there's some things to be aware of with the Olympics. Number one, Chiron stationed to go retrograde. Chiron's the wounded healer. So I expect there'll be some injuries that make news. I mean, people always get injured in the Olympics, I assume, and there may be some high-profile injuries, as well as Mercury is slowing down. It doesn't station retrograde till August 4th, but it's moving so slowly in the sky. Mercury rules our mental processes. It has to do with dexterity. It has to do with plans and the plans we make. So the fact that it's slowing down, I expect during these Olympics, there's going to be people who there were thoughts that they would win and someone stole victory from them. So the underdogs could be winning competitions in the Olympics. Yes, because you can also think about Mercury rules Gemini. So Mars, the planet of competition, and Jupiter has to do with achievements, medals, success, all that kind of stuff, are both reporting into Mercury that's slowing down. At least it's in its home sign, but it's moving really slow and it's stationing to go retrograde. Now, this could also be that there's a lot of controversy around some of the calls that people are fighting and saying, no, this person should have won, or no, they weren't out of bounds, or they were out of bounds and they didn't call it out of bounds. So really think about Mercury going slow this week, and next week we'll see more about the station. The Sun is at 5 degrees of Leo, and this is the Six of Wands tarot card. The Six of Wands is the victory card. It's a card of success and achievement. It's an old-fashioned conservative woman is confronted by an up-to-date girl. The moon is at 5 Taurus, which is the Six of Pentacles in the tarot deck. The Six of Pentacles is a card of charity and generosity. Notice if you see anyone in the Olympics, if you're watching it, where like competitors are helping each other. The Sabian symbol is a bridge being built over a high and narrow gorge. So taking these two together and all of these themes, I feel like, a lot of women are very energized by the fact that we could have our first female president, and women of different stripes may be coming together to work together despite their minor differences about certain policies, as well as seeing the bigger picture. There's a lot of concern about Project 2025 and the desire to turn America into a Christian theocracy by some on the right. And some conservative women are going to be crossing over to vote Democratic, maybe even for the first time. There's also themes of building community. And one of the cautions I feel with these two together is trying to do something alone, because that bridge over the narrow gorge is like, it's a precarious route. And all you need to do is ask for help with the Six of Pentacles, and help could be there for you. You can also think about internally, this is a great question to ask yourself, how do you shine your light or lack thereof it? The sun is at home in Leo, and have self-confidence to move forward despite any feelings of insecurity? Or do you let that inner voice about, oh, I worry about how I look, oh, I'm not good enough, this, that, and the other, because Taurus is ruled by Venus and Venus compares, do you let that hold you back from trying to achieve your goals? This lunation started with a solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Taurus, where the sun and the moon were both in Taurus on April 30th, 2022. The first quarter moon was where the sun was in Aquarius and the moon in Taurus, both at 8 degrees on January 28th of 2023. The full moon phase was a lunar eclipse where the sun was in Scorpio, the moon was in Taurus at 5 degrees of the respective signs. And now we come to the last quarter moon where the sun is in Leo and the moon is in Taurus, both at 5 degrees. And it was yesterday, July 27th. And the solar eclipse was when I started the Celestial Insights podcast. So this has been going on for 2.5 years, that 27-month cycle. I want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank Jen Brown, my podcast producer. It's been a labor of love, a lot of effort and expense, and I'm so glad so many people, come up to me in conferences, email me, DM me about how much they enjoy the podcast. If you have time, please write a review or share it with your friend or both. And you can always treat me to a cup of coffee or a cocktail. Or actually, I'm not really drinking anymore. So no, a cup of coffee, if you so desire, at the link in the show notes. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that the United States moon is at 27 degrees of Aquarius. And the moon rules the people or the public, the electorate in mundane astrology, the astrology of worldly events. And Uranus will square the moon of the United States 3 times. August 18th, September 15th, and next May 15th of 2025. So Uranus is transiting the 6th house of the United States Sibley chart. The 6th house rules health, specifically things that go wrong with health, unions, the working class, public records, things like libraries, Social Security, unemployment, any of these kind of programs that help people. It also rules epidemics. And the 3rd house is where we have our natal moon. The 3rd house is the house of the lungs. It rules roads, bridges, all kinds of transportation, media, freedom of speech, international agreements, press releases, mail, and communications. So these 3 dates are something to be aware of a couple days before, and the exact dates, because there could be something of a Uranian nature that affects lots of people in the United States. Now, Uranus rules elections and abortion are 2 topics. So it could be something like a woman who, is pregnant and really wants her child, but she has some kind of health issue and she really suffers because she's in one of these states that has outlawed abortion. Could be one of the stories we see. It could also be about something like, big power outages or disruptions due to hopefully not a cyber attack or something like a upgrade, like with the CrowdStrike, that we had this big problem that affected so many corporations and hospitals and the airports and things like that. So there could be travel disruptions on these days. So just be aware of that this energy is at play. Yeah, could be some big thing and Uranus is within a degree of the moon of the people. So this is a time for the American people just to be aware there's going to be a lot of twists and turns and spins out. I mean, just be aware that we need to just stay calm and carry on because there's going to be a lot of change. And we can't just let every little twist and turn knock us off our axis. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that Venus in Leo is going to square Uranus in Taurus on Friday, the 26th, and Uranus is still exactly on Algol. I would say, when Uranus is at 25 to 27 degrees, it's essentially conjunct Algol. One of the things about Algol is it's the Lilith figure, and Kamala Harris is a Lilith archetype. She is a very powerful woman. She's got Venus-Pluto conjunction. She's magnetic. She's sexy. She's beautiful. People are attracted to her or repelled by her. There's a little bit of extremes with her. She does not have any kids of her own. She's a stepmother. But one of the things, J.D. Vance, who's very conservative, he's the VP that Donald Trump chose, he has said a lot of things, and there's more and more conversation amongst conservative men demonizing women who don't have children or women who aren't married. This is a big thing. So one of the things with the Mars-Uranus conjunction, Mars rules sex, Uranus revolutions, conjunct Algol, Lilith-type figures, also Medusa, who was beheaded. And J.D. Vance said something about essentially reversing the sexual revolution. That's Mars conjunct Uranus conjunct Algol. That's a big part of the platform of the Republican Party. And now they're running against a woman who's a Lilith-type figure. So just know they are going to be demonizing Kamala Harris endlessly. And really watch, especially during Mercury retrograde, what is dredged up to shame her about her sexuality or women about their sexuality. Of course, there's going to be very nasty things about Black women and racist things coming up into the collective. So just be aware that that's going to be a big part of things. And when you see these things, think about that Algol imagery. So maybe we'll see, this is happening on Friday, where Venus and Leo squaring Uranus on Algol. Now, it could be like some big celebrity comes out, Venus in Leo type person comes out for Kamala Harris, or it could be, this is surprise party energy. This is also, it could be, just be aware that relationships can be under stress. So it's a time to take extra care with your relationships and be mindful that this is kind of break up energy that's happening this week. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 30, 60, or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Ask me a burning question and I'll record a video for you. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is legacy. There's not too much going on this day. We had the last quarter moon yesterday, but there could have been some kind of big event. And you can think about the moon is in the sign of Taurus, a sign of resources. Maybe you'll think about with Leo season, what kind of legacy do you want to leave for either your children or grandchildren or some kind of organization or the collective, if you're a teacher or something like that? It's got really 10 of Pentacles energy, thinking about what you're going to leave behind, overseeing your realm, that kind of thing is what I'm getting with this energy. Monday is word of the day is questions. We're going to have the moon enter Gemini at 2:27 a.m. Pacific time. Gemini is mutable air. Air connects, air communicates. That shift from Taurus to Gemini. There may be a lot of questions about something that happened over the weekend. The song is Wild Thoughts by Rihanna came into my mind with this. When she said, I think she's saying wild, 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 but to me it sounds like why? So that could be something to think about on Monday. On Tuesday, the word of the day is reputation. Venus in Leo is trine Chiron in Aries. They're both at 23 degrees. The moon is conjunct Jupiter on this day. This is some great energy. Hopefully no woman competing in sports injures themselves. Chiron is the wounded healer, but it also can be like a woman passionately telling her story about how something in the past, she's transmuted the pain of the past into a teaching in the present. I feel like reputation, because the sun has to do with your reputation, but also Venus in Leo is a positive kind of reputation, like something to damage reputation. There may be some nasty ad or something. I mean, there's going to be nasty ad from the Harris campaign about Donald Trump and from the Trump campaign about Kamala Harris. But I just get the feeling there's, damaging energy around a woman's sexuality, damaging her reputation could be something that we see with this. On Wednesday, the word of the day is champion. The song is We Are the Champions. And there could be some kind of unexpected, and throughout the Olympics, unexpected wins, stealing victory kind of thing is what I'm getting with this. But maybe it's just the expected person wins. The sun in Leo is trying the North Node in Aries. I see a champion standing on the pedestal. It's called a rostrum, that thing where the three people stand. It's a balsamic moon on this day at 23 degrees of Gemini. Kamala Harris's ascendant is at 24 Gemini. So it'll be interesting to see what shows up. The moon enters Cancer at 8:19 p.m. Pacific time. Cancer is cardinal initiating water energy. Like a woman can be standing on the podium crying. She's so excited. She won her race or whatever. I'm getting mom and apple pie, being thankful about the homeland. Yeah. On Thursday, the word of the day is running. Mars in Gemini is sextile the North Node in Aries. Sextiles are opportunities. Someone may break a record with this. Mars and the North Node are both at 8 degrees of their respective sign. Now, also, I think we're going to be seeing some injuries, like someone's running at breakneck speed and they fall and, they lose the race at the last second, or they trip over their shoelaces or something like that. We'll see what happens. But notice if you see anything like, oh my God, how did that happen? Mercury is slowing down to go retrograde. Mars is reporting into Mercury. On Friday, the word of the day is awestruck. Mars is sesqui-square Chiron. So again, this is kind of like this little bit of injury energy. And if you're looking at someone's chart, Uranus in Taurus on Algol has connotations around the neck, because Taurus rules the neck and like having like some freak accident or surprise injury. And Gemini rules the hands, the wrists, and the shoulders. So these are some of the things I'm looking at to see, around potential for unexpected little injuries. It's a Cancer moon. And so this is also the day that Venus squares Uranus at 26 degrees of the respective signs. on Algol. So this could be like with this, I'm getting like a woman yelling at her kids or some, there could also be domestic violence stuff. If you're volatile or have a volatile partner, be aware to be resourced and have a plan if you get upset about something. I also wrote down making out in an elevator. Like, yeah, you're going to eat dinner, Cancer moon, Cancer rules the stomach, and you and your partner or somebody else decides to unexpectedly doing something kind of wild, make out in an elevator or on the escalator or something like that. It can be fun energy, but the square is tension. Yeah. On Saturday, the word of the day is body heat. The moon enters Leo at 4:09 a.m. Pacific time. We could be having a lot of hot heat waves around. And with Venus square Uranus, that movie Body Heat with Kathleen Turner and William Hurt, if you're looking for something to watch, this is the energy, sexy, passionate, yeah, and a little bit, Uranian, like, in Body Heat, Kathleen Turner has had just about enough of her husband and it has an affair with William Hurt. I'm spoiling it a little bit, but it's from the 80s. But it's a fantastic movie if you've never seen it. And it's very Leonic. Oh, and they're so hot. Ooh, and it's explosive too, which like Mars, Jupiter is a bit explosive. But powerhouses, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of powerhouse moves in the Olympics, in the election, and all that kind of stuff. Remember, tomorrow is the New Moon Workshop. Sign up and join live if you want a hot take reading, or you can just get the recording and watch it at your leisure. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.